You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag beer time, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers cart horse?
And just do something terrible. Just shit beer.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with the sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
Having some good conversation here, Mr. Troy.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Are we all fair?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy. And in this episode, we have two guests. One is Mr. Stephen Rambo Peel from Shackleton Brewing Company. You may recognize that name before because he has been on the show before. And then joining us again for a second time is Surfer Cam from Atlantic Storm Brewing Company. So it's great that these guys are in the studio because we are celebrating cask beer. Oh, we're going from craft beer to cask beer, so many different levels down the rabbit hole. And we discuss what is going on in the market now, in the craft beer markets. We also look at different styles and experiments in not just with cask, but with Kolsch beers. And we also dive into the world of festivals, events, what is happening in the South African landscape, and what constitutes a successful event. We also touch on sharing ideas with different brewers and the Craft Brewers Association, what's happening there. It's an awesome show. We drink some very tasty beers. I am a big fan of dark beers. If you are, then you're going to like this show. Guys, as always, let me know what you think. Enjoy the show. Cheers.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip.
Seatbelts, everyone. Let's turn that down. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Typical. As I turn the microphone back on, I get a crackle. Hold on. There we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Magic School Bus. No, welcome to Hashtag Beer Time, Tertian's Vibe Radio. It's Tuesday. It is wonderfully chilly outside. I say wonderfully chilly because we are getting some rain, much needed rain in Cape Town. We've been having quite a bit of a drought. And as a result, people haven't been, I don't know, showering, bathing. But more importantly, people haven't been making homebrew. That's actually a fact. I think I saw some stats the other day where people are just not brewing beer because there's no water. I mean, it's quite scary. But anyway, we've got some rain. And this is not hashtag weather time. This is hashtag beer time, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? How you feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm excited. Whew, lots of going on in the beer world. Let's get into the show. Maybe we could have a weather segment, and with my guests, we could just do like weather time with Scooby Steve. Mr. Steve from Shackleton's, how you doing, sir? Welcome.
Good. Thanks, Troy. Thanks for having us here.
Guests who listened to the show when you were last on might confuse you with Snackleton's.
Snackleton, yes.
You haven't brought out a range of snacks or anything like that.
Snackleton snacks.
Snackleton snacks at Shackleton. Well, welcome back. It's good to have you in the studio. I'm hoping you are excited for some beer.
Absolutely.
Oh, frothing at the mouth. And then we have another beer buddy in the studio. It's joining us, I think, for the third time. Second time. He goes by many names, but let's just refer to him as Surfer Cam. Cam Diggity Doggity from Atlantic Storm. How you doing, sir?
Good, and you?
Lekker. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio. It is a few minutes past midday. Let's crack open a beer. I think we should start it off. Cam, what have you bought? What have you bought us?
I brought our Pale Ale, Cape Doctor, and the Black Tempest Malt Stout.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know, should we start with your Kolsch maybe? I think that'll be a better beer to start with.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think it'll be lighter, easier.
Let's crack it.
Let's do it. Okay, look, I'm no professional here. You guys seem to know what you're talking about.
Either way, we're having beer.
Let's get a little Okay, you've got it's a growler. Okay, so talk to us. What is this beer? And I know you'll refer to why you made this beer, but talk to us a little bit more about what the beer is.
What the beer is. So, pronounced Kolsch. It comes from Germany and Cologne. It's basically a bridge between an ale and a lager. Very much brewed like a Pilsner is. A lot of Pilsner malt, a lot of wheat. And it's a real crisp, sessionable beer. And I think I was just looking for something like that. And what we've done is we've tried to keep it as traditional to the style as possible. So we've done high Pilsner malts content,
Sounds delicious.
wheat for that beautiful head on it, and then the noble hops, the German noble hops, to give it that subtle, lingering bitterness.
Subtle lingering. Don't you come and speak like that so early in the day, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm trying to think who the last person or the last brewery in South Africa that had a Kolsch from, and I was really surprised because it was actually pretty spot on. Can you remind me?
Noon Gun? No, they do a Kolsch.
I don't know if it was Noon Gun. I haven't had them on the show, but it was.
Well, Devil's Peak they came
bicycle
out with that
They had the bicycle kick.
lemongrass, yeah.
I mean, look, anything that Devil's Peak brings out is pretty much a 8, 9, or 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But there was someone else who made a Kolsch, and I said, hey, this is pretty good. Maybe is this the first time you've made this?
No. We've been brewing this since
Maybe
last year,
maybe it's yours.
yeah. I brought this on Beer Time.
Well, look
last
at that,
night.
a compliment within a compliment.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, cool. So let's see if it's still a tasty beverage. Yeah, not too many Kolsches. I think people don't really. I think it'll just get lost. People are still not warmed up to the fact that there's an ale on the shelf or an ale on the tap. Now you're going to tell them that there's a Kolsch. It's just like it really is foreign to the average consumer.
It's that in between beer, which is pretty cool about
I think
it.
a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So it's not like a pale ale. It pretty much says it in the name. Nobody knows what a Kolsch really is.
Could scare off a lot of people. Yeah.
Often mistaken for Grolsch as well. Believe it or not.
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
you could. It's no. I would also be confused if I wasn't a regular beer drinker. Just on, not to go off on a tangent, but that tends to happen on the show. What are your sales like with the Kolsches? What's the feedback, more importantly?
So the feedback is brilliant. It's
a great beer, by the way.
Thank you. It's believe it or not our biggest seller. I think because it's the lightest beer on the range, not in terms of alcohol, just in terms of body and texture and so on.
Sure.
And flavor. So it's those sessionable beers that a lot of people in South Africa are looking for.
So carbonation is also pretty low, which makes it super sessionable.
Yeah, it's light, it's clean, it's crisp, and yeah. So I'm selling it at Dizzy's in Camps Bay as well.
Ooh,
and they're flogging it as well. They're loving it down that side.
Dizzy's has actually got a very surprising craft beer selection.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Didn't they have Lakeside at one point? And
they got Lakeside. They've got Metal Lanes Pale Ale.
oh, fantastic!
They've got some Brewdogs, Stellenbrow.
Jeepers, well, people, if you if you're living in the Camps Bay area, you've put sport for choice there in terms of some craft beer.
Yeah, the owner is actually Cedric. He's trying to sort of build up a craft beer selection that it becomes more of a craft beer bar than dominated by those other beers that we know about.
For sure. Cool. Now I will tell the people who are listening that this is a fantastic beer. It's delicious. It's tasty. There's always a problem when you try and make these type of beers. They're a lot harder to make. I'm correct in saying you use a lager yeast.
No, so I actually use a Kolsch yeast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference? Fill me in here.
So the Kolsch yeast is designed to ferment. Well, it has capacity to ferment low, like a lager, and that's what makes it a hybrid. So you can use all the ingredients like an ale. You can ferment it high. You can ferment it low, And so what I've done is I've done that in between temperature range, that it comes out clean and crisp. It is lagered like a lager, slightly, but a little bit warmer than a lager is, and that's what gives it that bridging flavor. But it's a fantastic yeast. It ferments out cleanly. And
I'm going to get nerdy. What yeast is it?
K97
From
Fermentus.
Okay, I don't think I've seen it. Is it available
Yeah,
at homebrew shops?
Yeah, it's readily available. Yeah.
Okay.
It was quite an experiment the first time I did it. I was just like, the style took me quite a while to get the recipe right and
Sure.
to really do a lot of research into it. And then when I found the yeast, I was just like, this is a lot like safer and easier than I thought it would have been. You know.
Okay, so that's a nice little tip for, I think, not just homebrewers, but for commercial brewers in South Africa. If you want to make I'm going to say a lagerish style beer, but don't have the necessary cold chain or, let's say, the cold fermentation methods, techniques, equipments, this is a nice little plan B. And yeah, I think to the untrained palate, this is, you could pass this as a lager.
And part of my research with the recipe was, I found there was a ton of papers and recipes out there online that can, supplement how you want to brew this beer. So it's really.
It does have a bit of a wheaty note, almost like a Belgian Wit.
Yes.
It comes like creeping in there. I say that because I'm getting very nostalgic about my homebrew, my Belgian Wit that I made with my homebrewing club. Shout out to Cards Horse. And that was heavy Wit, heavy Belgian flavors. This has got, as it warms up now, I get a little bit of that wheaty note coming through.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What's on?
No, it's spot on. Well, before we move ahead and talk about upcoming events, I thought it was important to talk about past events, things that have happened in the last few weeks. Cam, you and I saw each other at Jack Black on Saturday. It wasn't really an event. It was more of a farewell to someone in our industry, Mr. France, who worked at Jack Black for, I think, 3-4 years as marketing. But anyway, he's off to Toronto, and he's going to, for those of you who know Toronto, he's going to work at Amsterdam Brewing Co. I've been lucky enough to go there and have some chicken wings and beers. I don't know why I'm speaking like that. But yeah, so we wish him the best of luck. Exciting to see guys taking the opportunity and the leap. And then what we couldn't attend, which Mr. Steve attended, well, I suppose you had to attend because you were there in brewery in person. But tell us a little bit about the CBC Tap Takeover.
Sure, that was an amazing day. Yeah.
It was Saturday, right?
It was this past Saturday. So we went through there and we were invited to the Tap Takeover. It was the fifth one, the final one for 2018.
Oh, okay.
And what happens is that CBC kindly invites a whole bunch of small breweries to their brewery, and with their following, they get all their people to come into the brewery, taste our beers, have a conversation, and it's just a nice time to engage with people. But I think more than that, it really was awesome to be, networking with other small brewers who are in the same boat as you, and then as well getting tips and insight from the master brewer Wolfgang. It's and getting a personal tour from him, and he really puts a lot of effort into these small markets, and it's amazing. It really was inspiring.
Yeah, no, he. There's a reason why he's the chairman of Craft Brewers Association South Africa. But even without that title, he's always been very forthcoming with knowledge, information, and having an open door approach. Like, if he sees you basically, and if you are lucky enough to know him, he will want you to walk and go with him into the fermentation tank room and just try all the beers.
Yeah.
What do you think of? I'm not going to do my Wolfgang accents because I'll get tasered. What do you think of the the Imperial IPA? And you look at a a glass and you'll take it straight from the tank and give it to you ice cold.
That is the reason I always need a lift there.
Yes, exactly.
So I never leave this over.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I see they're doing quite a bit of stuff. I know that they. Okay, so this was the last one.
This was the last one.
Second year? Have they did it last year? I think
they did it last.
So this is the last one of the second year.
Yes.
I think I know why this was the last one. They've got their beer fest coming up, and
Yes.
I say their beer fest, but they are. They're the main beer supplier to the Spa Tops Beer Fest. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, this is the German-style Oktoberfest celebrations, which we have every year, which have always been, I think since I started going maybe 10 years ago, which have always been sponsored by, SAB, and it was always held at SAB Newlands. I think since the AB InBev merger, I'm speculating, but ever since that happened, it's moved from SAB Newlands to Grand West, and then I think last year it was still SAB, but then this year now, for whatever reason, nothing against SAB or any breweries, but now Spa Tops still the main sponsor, but they're getting an actual German brewery to sponsor the fest. So
it's an amazing move for craft beer.
Do you know where
it's great
it's gonna be held?
It's still going to be at Grand West, which is, it's regardless of where it is, you have to catch a taxi.
Yes, yeah.
So I actually was saying that to a friend the other day. Like, if it's in a trendy spot or if it's a low end spot, you still have to catch a taxi. But yes, it is great for craft beer. It is great for a festival like this, and it's what's just going to expose the non-craft brewer, the mainstream beer drinker, who is, you go to these fests, and I am guilty of this. You go to these fests to see how many steins you can drink. I think I pump the brakes after 3 because then it's a very fast downhill.
Yeah.
But having said that, it is great that you are getting the consumer to drink something different, something that they're not used to. And I know that SAB used to make like their Dunkels and their Weissens, for the festival, but now you've got arguably the best brewer in Africa making German brewer making beers that he's proud of his beers. I'm not saying that anyone else is not proud of their beers, but this guy's he's going to make sure that the beers on offer are going to be fantastic. And I've always been a big fan of the CBC Oktoberfest. So the actual beer. So no doubt.
We actually had a few on Saturday as well, and
don't tell me that
they were tasting amazing.
Don't tell me that. Did he pour you some in a glass, or did you go into the ferment?
No, we did. We went into the fermenter room. We got the special.
I've got FOMO now.
Yeah,
it's not good.
It was proper, and that place is just run like a real clean operation. It is just,
it has to.
It is world class.
Tell me about the other breweries that were there.
So we had Elysium Brewery. Ashley from Elysium. And then we had Kennel, Paul. We also had Everson Cider.
Okay.
That was really cool. And the Co-op, Brewers Co-op was there.
Oh wow! Okay,
So it was a real neat crew of people.
So the Brewers Co-op, for those of you who don't know, well, you could tell. Rather, people are sick and tired of hearing my voice. What's the Brewers Co-op?
Cam, explain.
Cam, you explain it.
It's a group of brewers that have come together to start a small brewery in Woodstock. And I think you can buy shares and actually brew your beer there, and they will then sell it on tap for you. I think that's more or less.
Yeah,
And it's a small system, isn't it? Like 80 liters, 100 liters.
120 odd liters.
So that's, well, I suppose that's in American standards, that's a barrel. But it's in our, South African standards, that's about 4 kegs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Little Wolf started.
That's where, Little Wolf, that's where
Ukamba.
Ukamba, and I'm trying to think who else. that's all I know for now in terms of people
Still
who
the
started
beers,
it.
the beers that they're showcasing are really good.
No, well, that's the thing. They're wacky.
Yeah.
And they've only got, 120 litres to experiment with. And that's, if they make a chocolate paw beer and it doesn't do well, then, it's only 120 litres.
Yeah.
You can't do that as a big brewer.
Even now,
'Cause you're
for me,
small.
if I try to do a test batch at Valley Brewery, it's 1,000 litres. It doesn't work out. It's
Yeah,
Game over.
considerable amount of beer.
Guys,
a
I've,
lot of money.
not to break the conversation, but I've finished my Kolsch,
Have you run dry?
which has made me rather
pale
sad.
ale now.
Well, up to you. What's...
So
This is your show, guys. I just push the buttons.
T-Bone Troy, hashtag.
thinking-
Hashtag beer time.
Kolsch pale, then cola
Yeah, let's
stout,
do it.
and then coffee malt stout.
Yeah, let's
Dan,
do it.
do
Kind
it.
of
Do
works
it.
in those.
Okay, pale ale. Let's go for it.
You're a cam driving machine, yeah.
Can I borrow your bottle?
Yes, go for it. So Stevie, you had a good weekend at CBC, a good festival.
Yeah, and it all ended off with a lekker braai with some German sausages and obviously a few good chats with the brewers. And
There's something about a beer fest that's you have a beer fest during the day, and then you have a braai afterward, but just for the brewers. There's something
Yes.
incredibly special about that. Nothing against, it's obviously unfortunate if you're not a brewer or involved in the beer industry, and if you a normal regular paying patron, but there's something special for the brewers side where, like you said, there's that camaraderie, that's that networking,
Yes.
talking, which I almost think it doesn't happen enough. You get brewers or business people who are too busy and they need to go to the next thing or do whatever. But I think really what's my kind of vision, or I suppose let me say the Craft Beer Association's vision, what we're trying to push is a singular voice. People going to meetings, people being unified and chatting about issues, because it's no point in a brewer who's not involved, who has an issue, and he doesn't get it sorted, or he doesn't come to meetings and get that clarity or feedback, and then he'll come back next meeting, or if he comes back at all 6 months later, but that issue's outdated.
Yeah.
And it's almost, it slows the industry down.
there's a lot of effort that brewers need to put into the industry too.
Sure, and to keep up with the times.
Yes.
I think that's, there's a mistake that brewers make, or what I've seen is that once you've opened a brewery, I mean, Cam, you can help me here. Once you open a brewery and you made a beer, it's not over. You still got
you got to sell it.
that. It's easy making beer.
Yeah.
That's the easy part.
And
then
actually getting it out,
selling it,
is-
but also
yeah.
just improving. I mean, for example, this is not your first label.
No,
You guys have worked on labels. Is this your first recipe?
no. In the last 6 months, we've adjusted it, changed the mash temperatures, the mash times, even the
And your brewery, you've even moved.
yeah. So we moved, about a year and a half ago. We moved to Valley Brewery, so all my beers are brewed through there now. Gives me more time for IT work, which pays the bills.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've adjusted this beer a little increments throughout the years. We're always trying to improve it. So yes, we haven't brewed the exact same beer every time, but every time we're trying to tweak it and improve it and get it better.
Well, look-
until we're happy with something that we can then, leave it there.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is that, there's this.
Well, yeah.
Well, the South African brewers need to actually step up to the plate, and I'm not saying that they're not, but there are some that really aren't putting in efforts. But we're trying to. I have to be careful with what I say here, but the Craft Beers Association is trying to get a unified voice and trying to get people on the same page and have the same vision and be this, I say it again, be the same voice when talking about certain issues. It just doesn't help when there's And it's fine. You're going to get people who think differently and who don't agree. But I think we need to have a common goal. We need to be one. Am I making sense? I am.
Makes sense, Troy.
Okay,
you
let's talk about the beer because that's why we're here, amongst other things.
Yeah, so
It's actually got, from the last time I tried this, it's got a bit of that pale ale kick.
yeah.
It's got a bit of an American pale ale kick where
What we realized with certain things was our hop additions weren't really helping with our mash temperatures, and they really do. And like, our mash times were a little bit too long, and we actually realized that if we shortened our mash times a little bit, and changed our hop additions a little bit, also, we'll actually get more aroma. Because we were getting a lot of bitterness for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why. And I was adding my hops at like 30 minutes and then later. So now we've adjusted things, and I think it's coming out a lot cleaner, a lot more sessionable, and we're getting more aroma on it, which is what I've been looking for. So
What I really find I enjoy about this beer is that there is that balance between that hop aroma. It is a true pale ale style, so it's got that malty backbone, but it's also balanced by the hops, and so it's got that bitterness as well.
and it's warm at the moment, so it's
But I mean,
it's actually very nice because it's
Yeah.
absolutely freezing outside, and this is probably about like 10, 11 degrees.
yeah, roughly around there. I mean, my flat's probably colder than that, so it's probably like 7.
So we had a few things that we wanted to chat about. I think I wanted to chat about the past weekend where we had a few beer events, but then we've got some things that I do want to talk about, which are happening this week and this weekend. But before we get into that, we're going to play a little music break. Because that's what we do here. We take little music breaks so we can just recover.
Is that a drinks break?
A drinks break, yes. Cool, guys. For those of you listening at home or on the podcast or wherever, we will see you guys in a little bit. Check you later. Ciao, ciao. Two Oceans Vibe Radio. Hello, welcome back. Did you miss us? I hope so. You are tuned into hashtag beer time, and we had a good break. Did you have a good break? Hope you enjoyed the music. Hope you enjoyed a beer. Are you drinking beer? I hope so. I certainly hope so. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the second half of the show, and actually just realized in the break how much we've meant to say in the first half, and then we didn't get through to it. We have a competition, believe it or not, because this weekend there is just a regular old beer festival happening. No, it is the In the Shadow of Giants Cask Festival. Am I saying it correctly?
Correct.
Correctly. There's a little bit of a crackle. I'm just going to turn this down. Yeah, it's this one. Hold on. Snap, crackle. Fuck you. Crackle, pop. Hate it. Someone just said on WhatsApp now, it's our beer time trademark sound of the crackle. Right. You can win 2 tickets to this weekend's festival. And actually, let's give away. We'll give 2 pairs, so 4 in total. And this is what you have to do. You have to go onto Twitter. You have to find the tweet that hashtag beer time sent out, explaining the show. I tagged Atlantic Storm. I didn't tag Shackleton. Why didn't I tag Shackleton in Twitter?
No, you just forgot to, I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's called Snackleton.
I didn't tag it because you aren't on Twitter. Are we going to sort this?
I knew
It's a
you were
millennial
gonna
not
be
on
about
Twitter.
Are we going to sort this out? You're the youngest guy in the room and you're not on Twitter.
this. Maybe that's why.
Is there something else we should be tagged in? Tinder?
Oh, I mean, you can do all of those, yeah.
Can we? Okay. Well, speaking of Tinder, this is what you can win. You could win 2 double sets of tickets to this weekend's beer festival, or you could win a date with Cameron.
I didn't agree to this.
You agreed to a lot more when you joined us on the show.
I haven't drunk enough to agree to anything.
I think you don't need much to agree to that. So, guys, this is what we want you to do. We want you to go onto Twitter. We want you to answer one question, and that is whoever comes up with the best response will win 2 sets of tickets, to 2 different people. If you don't come up with something that makes us laugh, you're going to win a date with Cameron. But we want to know in Twitter, just write in the comments there, what is better than winning a date with Cameron? That's the question. So you need to write your answer. The question is, what is better than a date with Cameron?
Oh, it's going to be brutal.
So we'll check that at the end of the show. We'll see who's making us giggle.
Or who really wants the date.
Or who really wants the date. Yeah, comments. I can't think of anything. Guys, let's talk about this weekend. Let's talk about the second installments of this festival. It was such a great success. I think, was it literally like 6 months ago?
Yeah, not so much. Maybe 5. Yeah, it was April. Yeah,
I mean, I had a good time. It was. Oh, there was some trendy beers there. It was tasty.
I was working and I had a good time.
Yeah, I even got roped in. I think Dissident in Afro Caribbean had a stand, and they had to go do babysitting duties. So, I mean, that was fine. I just stood behind the
T-Bone
casket.
Troy was.
Sorry, I didn't know I could hire you. You want to pour beers for me this weekend?
Well, look, I think for every beer that I gave a customer, I gave myself a beer.
Well, that's what I do anyway.
Yeah. But so tell us about it. While you're telling us about it, Mr. Steve, Cam, maybe you can open us the third beer.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the second one, as you said. It's basically we're trying to make it a biannual event. We are taking the casks that we have at Shackleton, giving them to the brewers, and they are filling each cask with some majestic beer. Absolutely.
So this is still the same 30-litre keg.
40 litre.
40, sorry.
40 litre. So each brewery will have one cask, right?
Okay.
Alongside the other draft beers. So we won't run out of beer, don't worry. But the point of it is to just give people that opportunity to experience cask beer in South Africa. We don't have it.
It's a totally new dimension to craft beer.
Thing, yeah.
So when people discover craft beer, then the next level is Kolsch, and then the level below that is cask ale. So you've got
made me choke on my
I'm sorry, as you took a sip. So you've got this whole rabbit hole of different things. I wonder what's next. Probably at the bottom is a date with Cameron.
Wow.
I think you could.
I'm regretting this.
Yeah, maybe.
Why not agree to come on radio?
I will say this. I'm going to have a bit of FOMO. Not a lot of FOMO. I will have a lot of FOMO. A little. I'm confused.
A little lot.
I will be in a very small city on Saturday. That's not Cape Town.
What is it called? Is it better than Newlands?
It's a small city in the southeast of Asia called Bangkok.
Oh wow!
So I leave on Thursday for a little 2-week holiday.
Oh, that is exciting.
I'm very excited. I am a little jealous that I'm not going to be at the festival because I had such a good time last time. And also for some strange reason, I won't be drinking a lot of craft beer while I'm overseas because it's quite expensive.
Yes.
They've got Singer, which is dirt cheap, apparently.
It's actually pretty good, though.
But I've been doing my research in bars and what beer costs there. It's going to be like 100 Rand, especially with the Rand that's dipping now.
Yeah.
100 Rand for a craft beer. Maybe just...
That is steep.
Maybe skip past and go straight to the Singer cheap lager. For those of you wondering what's going to happen to #BeerTime, don't worry. I will upload special podcasts that you can hear and listen to. Let's talk about this weekend. But while we're talking about it, I'm just going to have a little sniff. What is this? Talk to us. What is this? Who made this?
We did.
Yeah.
What?
We made this. Both Cam and I.
Were you guys on a date?
Kind of.
No, we
You
weren't.
can't be drunk.
No, we weren't. There's better things than that.
Well, I look forward to seeing what the people come up with.
So Cam and I we started chatting, and this was actually just after the Cask Fest, the last one in April, and we were like, "Yo, we need to do a collab. Let's make a beer." Both, like I'm like passionate about cask, and Cam's stouts and that on cask at the last fest.
Multi award winner.
Multi-award winner.
Hopefully tomorrow night it'll be a goal.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
This is his speciality, So we thought let's just try something and give it a bash for cask. So this is going to be in cask on the weekend. It's an oatmeal stout. What we've done is we've added.
It's delicious.
It's
delicious.
Thank
You can stop right there. You don't need to sell me on it. but tell the people listening at home.
I mean, they probably don't have one in their hand right now. So
They need to start a radio show.
Hints of vanilla and cocoa?
Yeah. We did add about 1 kilogram of cocoa to the boil. Actually, no, it's the whirlpool after the boil. Hoping just to get a little bit more chocolate pulling through.
What was your method? How was your cocoa added? Was it nibs, crushed powder?
Yeah.
Okay. And whirlpool, you said.
Yeah.
And I'm asking these because maybe I'm interested, but is it like duration? Do you measure the duration of how long it goes in for?
You can, yeah. So on the software that I use, it's difficult with the powder like cocoa. I can't really tell you how dry the beer is going to become after using it. But I have a sort of the brewery that I run has a sort of set amount of time that I whirlpool for. Okay. And so we just calculate how long we want to have the cocoa in for, and then we add it in. And we could have added a little bit more.
Cocoa's expensive though.
It's expensive, and we don't want to.
This is an incredibly clean and incredibly lightish beer. It's because, and this is a great beer. If people think like, oh no, these dark stouts are going to be thick and filling, this is actually, I can't believe it. This is
because we had this
light.
We were serving this at the Woodstock Winter Beer Festival on cask, and it was beautiful. It was just amazing.
We went through 80 liters of cask.
You were saying that the other day. You guys had a really successful Woodstock Beer Fest.
Yeah.
You went through a lot of beer.
I ran out by 4 o'clock. Had to get Barry to go fetch some more, but unfortunately, because it's not our actual brewery, we couldn't just drive out there and go get. So luckily, he had another keg somewhere. But he got there and I was sold up within an hour, and then that was it. I worked out I probably could have done 7 kegs through one line, and I was actually just like.
Had you had more of that pale ale, you would have flogged it. Yeah.
But let's be honest, I was giving a lot of away for free.
to the likes of people like me.
Yeah.
Cam, you mentioned there earlier you're hoping to become a back-to-back winner.
Yeah,
tomorrow night at the South African National Beer Trophy, which is being held at Beer House in Cape Town. And it's an annual competition which runs, I think, every winter, June, July for us in South Africa. And so this is, you could be winning another gold medal.
No,
for which beer?
Silver last year.
No, we got silver last year for the Black Tempest, Milk Stout. We're hoping for gold. I mean, as everything, you're always hoping to do better. We're hoping to take the boys from Beer Country off the gold and steal that from them. Yes, old Greg and Cole. They win the Moor Coffee. Yeah, that's always a winner. I mean, and
very similar style.
They're also always improving their beer.
Yes. So they're the ones we're looking out for, and we're hoping we take the gold this year. I mean, we just got an email and notifications to say we've got to go through.
So they don't actually say if you're winning this award. You just have to be there.
They just tell you you're winning an award. So, we've got fingers crossed, toes crossed.
I remember Bruce and Karen's story from Stelly's Brewing Company, where they said they were invited and they waited the whole evening and they didn't win a single thing. And they were like, oh, this is
best of show.
This is awkward. Yeah. And then the final award was best of show. and they won
Oh wow.
the most prestigious award for their Acre Stout, I think it was.
It wasn't stout. It was their...
Was it the...
Their stout won at Cape Town Festival of Beer.
Was it the Bockbeer?
The Bock, yes.
Wunderrock Bock. It's one of my favorite beers, just to drink and to say. Okay, so that's tomorrow night at Beer House, but that's invite only.
Yeah,
I wasn't invited, but I might just go have a beer at the bar and just
sneak in. You can be my plus one.
Yeah.
Just
oh,
hang around
oh
and
no, I don't want to be your date.
Do you have a plus one?
No, I don't.
I'll just make up a brewery now and say I'm there. Okay, guys, well, I'm sad that I've gone through the stout very quickly because it is delicious, and I'm wanting to see what it's like a little bit warm because it obviously does
Hold
change.
on to this one.
No, I'm good. I've got a little here. God, there was something else I wanted to talk about, and I completely forgot. Well, let's talk about the Saturday. Where do people get tickets?
So we are selling our tickets on web tickets again. Just head over to the Facebook page and you'll find the link there you can click on. We are selling at the door, but it's obviously going to be an extra cost when you earn more. We're going to have branded glassware again.
Okay.
For the first 100 people, huh?
For the first 100 people.
You had that last time, yeah.
Yes.
That's what we
And then you can buy when you do come if you're not part of that first 100, but it's quite an incentive to get there. It's a lovely looking glass. It's one that you want to keep. So So head over to the Facebook page and take a look there. It gives the full breakdown of the day. If there's poor weather, we're making the call tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to put a stretch tent over the whole festival and a few heaters and so on. So,
No, I think you're gonna have a great day. I'm excited, and the weather is actually looking pretty darn decent.
yeah,
No,
it is.
We've got about 10 minutes left, and I wanted to. Fuck it, let's open another beer.
Yeah.
I was gonna shift gears, but my beer is empty. There'll be no gear shifting of anything. Okay, talk to us about this, Cam. What is this?
Okay, this is the Atlantic Storm Black Tempest Coffee Malt Stout.
Oof.
We cold steep coffee beans from Tribe in our beer in the fermenters after fermentation, and I find we get a much
It
nicer.
smells like a vanilla cold coffee. I can smell it. Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that. That
So-
looks. If only radio you could see what you do.
Then you can smell.
Don't worry, we've got plans for virtual reality. People can just come and join us in the studio.
Experience the flavors.
Oh, okay. So there's so much coffee on here.
Yeah, that looks amazing. It smells good.
Yeah, we really enjoy Tribe, their coffee, and we've got a bit of a partnership with them. Really enjoy the guys that make the coffee, and we use their coffee in the beer.
Okay, now talk to me about the coffee. How do you add it and at where?
So after fermentation, once the beer is fermented out, then we add the coffee beans to the fermenter.
How are the coffee beans added? Are they cold crushed or
Whole beans.
whole beans?
Yeah.
Whole beans.
Whole beans. We add those and we leave it for about 2 to 3 days, and then we bottle and keg. So while we're cold crashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not saying anything because I'm busy drinking.
Just from my side, is there sort of a recommended amount of time that you need to leave coffee in a fermenter for to extract it efficiently like this? This is, I mean, it's so powerfully.
Yeah.
You know.
We find like 2 to 3 days is probably optimal. If you leave it a little bit longer, I find you start pulling some tannins.
Okay.
So if you heat up coffee for quite a while, you get that like sourness, the tannins.
Yes.
You start pulling that if you leave it too long. We were going for, that you've just opened a bag of coffee kind of aroma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and without that sourness of an espresso, because we use espresso beans in this.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's probably got a bit of caffeine in
Probably got a little bit, yeah. What's the alcoholness? What are the specs of this?
6%.
But it doesn't taste like it.
No. I mean, it is a milk stout, so it's got lactose in. So to those that are lactose sensitive, I'm sorry. We have also
Nothing wrong with that.
recently, like I said, we're always trying to improve our beers and just adjust slightly. We've started adding a little bit more lactose just to up the body, the mouthfeel, and a little bit more sweetness.
Okay. No, this... I would say this is... I'm happy drinking this as is. So, yeah.
It's definitely got that.
Good luck for tomorrow night. I hope you bring home some bacon.
Cheers, so do I.
And when I say bacon, an award. I hope you bring an award
So
or...
do I was talking about.
Yeah.
All the daytime, man. It's either one of the two.
I was really trying to I'm struggling to think what I was going to talk about, but there was one thing I wanted to talk about just briefly, which was an article I read about the biggest, or should I say, the wealthiest craft brewery at the moment. And it's no longer Sierra Nevada. It's no longer Sam Adams. It's no longer any one of those big guys that you think.
Wow.
And it's actually, in fact, AB InBev. And it's not because
That's all craft brands.
it's because it's all their crafts, or should I say, people who listen. I'm doing the inverted commas here. I have to explain it because you can't see it. They've all of AB InBev's crafty brands have now made more or sold more, made more profit than any other craft brewery within, I think, they're talking last quarter or anything like that of this last year, which is quite interesting to think that, like when people say no, the big guys aren't interested in craft, but they obviously are. Like there's a massive movement that's happening.
They're interested in the market.
But I speak at length about this, I suppose, recently with my new book, which is Barrel Aged Stout and Selling Out, the book by Josh Knoll, which was just delivered last week, and I've been racing through it. But it's amazing to see the history of the American craft beer revolution and how similar it is, like unbelievably similar it is to the South African movement. And I honestly and truly believe if you are a South African brewer and you want to be around for the next few years, you need to read this book. This book is like, it basically paves the way in which our market will go. To a big degree, it will go that way. And I just think it's interesting how the big guys will start buying more smaller guys. I think the Jack Blacks and Jack Black and Soweto, and that's just the start of it. It's gonna tenfold in the next few years, and we're gonna get a lot more. We're gonna get two things: a lot more craft brewers opening, and we're gonna get a lot more craft brewers closing.
Yes.
Which is going to make the market look like it's going through a bit of a lull,
But also
flatlining. But it's just progress.
But the quality of beer now, you're going to move up, or you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
When I started brewing, like half the guys were brewing in plastic fermenters, and selling the beer. Now, if you're still brewing in plastic fermenters, you're not going to last because the beer just doesn't last. You can taste it.
I think the South African palate has also evolved.
Yes.
Whereas they may have been okay with a plastic fermentation beer,
That's before you knew.
And
better.
now the bar's been risen.
Yeah.
Not just by South African beer, but by international beers.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, just what landed on our shores, I think last week, was the new Lagunitas can. Sorry, the new Lagunitas IPA bottle. It's not a can. And that's now being introduced into our markets. For those of you who don't know, Heineken owns Lagunitas, and Heineken also has a percentage ownership in Jack Black, a Cape Town craft brewery. So I think there's that relationship now where we're going to start seeing a bit of American beers on our shore, which, you know, a lot of people have two different theories. That's horrible for local craft brewers. Other people think this is great. We're going to get world-class
I think it's going to push the
IPAs.
quality of our beers.
I don't find it a problem at all.
No, I think it's going to push the quality
You
of our
guys are
beers
brewery
up.
owners. How do you guys feel about
Small
it?
brewery owners as well.
Yeah.
Small. You guys, yeah.
No, I think it's going to help because, I mean, you're not going to have guys just pushing out a batch of beer just because, you know, it doesn't matter what it tastes like. You know, we spent $7,000 on this or materials.
Yeah.
We just put it on the market because we can't afford it. You actually have guys now, we can only send out good beer. And with that, I mean, why would I want to buy local when I can buy international if the local's not going to be as good? So,
I think
Yeah.
so it's all about pushing that craft market, and
the quality has to go up, which will be great.
that's the only way
Yeah.
that we're going to survive is if the beer gets better, and that's what we strive to
Not
do.
that we do bad beer, but I mean,
And
It's-
no, but that's what
Yeah.
those international brands are bringing us. They're bringing us fantastic beers,
yeah,
and that is sort of making a benchmark for us to sort of
push
create.
towards.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
just what I want to get in my 2 cents there. It's not about making the beer cheaper
No,
in terms
no.
of cost.
Yeah.
In terms of costs, you know, I think you can never, ever compete with the big boys in terms of pricing. Good luck
No.
to you if you're thinking about that. It's about making your beer on a bigger, better quality scale.
What I'm saying is, you know, your beer's coming in from the States now. I'm sure they're going to be at a really good price. And it means that us local guys, you know, we've got to make our beer good to be able to compete. You know, you can't just brew a not so great beer and push it out cheaper than that beer and expect it to sell. Because then it's not going to.
Just fix your mic there. Just make it straight. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Typical.
Yeah, no, Cam, you're spot on. I definitely think that we've got world class beers in South Africa as it is, and if we we're putting ourselves onto the international stage, you know, comparing ourselves to those beers, then that's the way that we're going to grow the markets in South Africa. Let alone like growing the small breweries. I'm talking about growing the craft market as a whole, and that's how to do it, is to, you know, sort of see how we are coping with the quality of.
I'm gonna give
Lagunitas.
I'm gonna give both of you a rapid fire question. Doesn't mean your answer has to be quick, but try and make it quick. Devil's Peak owning all the tap room.
I've got no problem with it.
Business is business.
Doesn't affect me, and they made a good business choice for them, you know. And to be honest, we go through a couple of their lines. This might actually help me. We work with them, you know. So I've got no problem with it.
You Shackleton doesn't distribute much, does it?
No, we don't. So, in short, my answer is, if I was affected, I would probably have a different
Yes.
perspective on it.
Sure.
Right?
No, that's good.
But because I'm not, well, not because I'm not, but just I'm not affected, and I do understand. Whether you're a small brewery or a big brewery, you have your demands. You have to pay off your loans. You have to, you know, build, and you have to grow. And that's what Devil's Peak are trying to do. They're trying to survive. They're trying to keep their head above the water. And this was, I think, a good move for Devil's Peak.
Yeah.
In saying that, it's obviously a tricky one for a lot of small guys. So it's one of those, you know, catch-22 things. So.
Okay, so guys, we've can you believe we've approached the end of our show, and we've drank some delicious beers. Thank you, gentlemen, for bringing the beers. Let's get on to announcing our winners for the competition for Cam's Date. So if you have not given us a good enough answer, your prize is a date with Cam, and I think he's pretty desperate at the moment.
I'm not that desperate.
Cam has not stopped talking about getting a date.
And he's also been on Tinder the whole time we've been talking.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like he's got an extra battery just to charge his phone for his dinner.
Old phone.
Yeah. Okay, let's go through our responses here. We've got some. It looks like we've got some great ones. We've got Mike from Real Bear Revolution saying, anything is better than winning a date with Cam. Okay.
Okay, Mike, we're not friends anymore.
Well, so far, let's just go for listen. The Bear Whisperer, aka Murray Slater, says everything. Okay, everything. Okay.
Told you this was a bad idea.
Mr. Beer Pants has said the only thing better than the date with Cameron is a single plain scone. Perfection. He does like his scones. But he's saying the only thing.
The only thing.
The only thing. So maybe if he likes his scones,
Yeah, he likes his scones.
maybe old Beer Pants wouldn't mind a little date. Let's. Roly Beer Geek says things better than a date with Surfer Cam, and he clears his throat here. Drinking an Atlantic Storm Black Tempest. ... alone. Number 2, going to the Cast Festival. ... alone. Number 3, listening to #BeerTime. ... alone. Wow. Okay, I like that.
Feeling the hater.
Beer Whisperer has come in. Beer Whisperer's come in with another answer. He says Cam's mom.
Okay, Murray, it's on, eh?
We couldn't go a whole show with us talking about Cam's mom. Mr. Beer Pants, the only thing better than winning a date with Cameron is winning, standing Surfer Cam up, and taking Roly the Beer Geek instead. Ooh, wow, that was. This is getting violent.
That was a stab.
I should probably just read these before I read them live on the airwaves. Matt has said drinking in the shadow of a giant is better than a date with Surfer Cam. I totally agree with that.
You guys just tag me in.
Oh, so just
No, that's a double, eh? Because he gets a date with Cam and he gets to go to the Shadow of Giants.
sure.
The other date is you guys pouring beer for me.
Well,
Like
guys,
a drunk.
we had some good responses. Who should we give the prize to?
Can you give one quick summary of the...
Anything is better than winning a date with Cam. Marry everything. Mr. Beer Pants was pretty offensive.
Yeah, I kind of...
He said the plain scone. So how about
So
this?
I'm looking at the other one. The only thing better than winning a date with Cameron is standing Surfer Cam up and taking Roly the Beer Geek instead.
Wow.
I thought that was pretty clever, but kind of mean.
Yeah, well, let's give a little double here. Let's give Mr. Beer Pants 2 tickets on condition that he has a drink with Cam.
He pours
And
beer
I'll-
for me.
So it makes it official date then.
And I want to see, Steve, I need you to take a photo of the two of them having a beer together.
Yeah.
Just the two of them.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Beer Pants, so he can have the 2 tickets. And then we'll also give some to Roly the Beer Geek.
Yes, definitely.
Because
That
I think he digs to go alone. Although he will have an extra tickets.
They'll be pouring beer for free for me.
For everyone else,
Roly
if you are going, you
Roly
can
can invite Cam to the festival.
And you know what? If you did manage to comment, I'm sure old Cam will feel for you and pour you a beer at the festival this weekend. Cool, guys. This crackling and noise is doing my head in, but it is the end of the show. So let me say thank you very much. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for tuning in. For our international listeners, you can, well, I suppose, let me know your thoughts. To my guests in the studio, guys, thank you. Good luck for this week. Good luck for this weekend. I will.
Thank you.
You'll be missed.
I will be on a hammock, just like Greg Casey.
Yeah.
He's in Bali at the moment.
He video called me the other morning when I was in bed. And he's like, I've had 3 surfs and 3 beers. And I'm like, it's 8 o'clock. I'm still in bed.
What a day.
With a hangover.
With a hangover. Cool, guys. Scooby Steve, thanks for joining me on the show again.
No, thank you.
Awesome to
Troy.
have you.
It's really great to come onto these.
It is lekker to chat and to drink beer. Cool, guys. Let's play with some music. We'll see you guys. I will see you live radio in a few weeks' time. Check you guys later. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for hashtag beer time. That's hashtag beer time written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show and check you next time. Cheers.